attendees here. I'm starting the session. Friends, once again, good evening and welcome to this next webinar of MSME Perspective. With expansion of economy and development activities taking place, there is immense scope for MSME entrepreneurs. But we should appreciate that there is equal level of competition as well. It is essential that healthy competition should sustain and we should welcome it to keep ourselves competitive. To sustain and to build a capacity within and in the periphery of organization is an art. Let's try learning this art from today's expert, from today's speaker, Mr. Atal Banjaji. He's a chartered accountant. But before that, something about MSME Perspective. MSME Perspective, friends, is a digital platform focused on solutions to MSMEs to guide them through turbulent situations. Knowledge sharing and updations are key pillars of MSME Perspectives. We have digital presence in form of WhatsApp group, Telegram channel, YouTube channel, LinkedIn. Our sponsors are Sparsh Advisory Private Limited, which is into debt syndication, and Blossom Advisors and Consultants Private Limited, which is into structured trade finance. With this, let me move on to give a brief introduction of the speaker, Mr. Atal Banjaji. Mr. Atal Banjaji is a managing partner of ABB and Associates and heads the International Trade Consulting and Asset Monitoring Division. He has been a convener of GST, which we have just spoken of, GST, GRF, a pan-India society which conducts in-depth legal and technical research in GST laws and economics issues. He is the first chartered accountant, friends, in India to complete the specialized post-qualification course on international trade laws and WTO, been conducted by ICAI. Qualified forensic auditor, fraud investigator. He is the first Indian professional to attend US Department of Commerce public hearing in anti-dumping investigations without help of any US lawyer. Wow, that's important. That's important for us, without the help of any US lawyer. He has experience of more than 25 years in investment banking, management consulting, forex, forensic and corporate laws, anti-money laundering, and etc. He has authored various books. Some of his books include Study of Impact of Free Trade Agreement signed with Thailand, Sri Lanka, and Singapore, which has received accolades by economists. Another book includes Study on Benefits of Preferential Trade Agreements, which has been published by ICAI New Delhi. With this brief introduction of the speaker, let me hand over the charge of the session to Atalji. But before that, a request to all the audiences, okay, if you can keep yourself on mute, and as far as possible, we can put our screen off so that there is no technical issue. And second important thing, we can post our question answers in question answers box. But if Atalji is comfortable, questions can be taken in the middle. Thank you very much, and Atalji, over to you.
Good evening, all. Thanks to Mr. Samir, Rajeshji, and all others participants for giving this opportunity to speak on competition, sustainability, and capacity building. Now, let me give an overview in 2 lines. In this presentation, what we have tried to cover is the type of competition, the environment, business environment really today we are facing, and the challenges, and the government supports, existing government policies, and we have analyzed whether these are sufficient to face these global challenges coming, and how to build our capacity so that we can sustain these competition challenges and build our network strong and move ahead with time. Samirji, can you help in changing the slide, or I have to do the slide change? Samirji, slide change.
Hello. Can you hear me? I will be happy. If you want me to request you with the word slide something.
Hello, Samirji.
Hello. Can you hear me?
हेलो
हाँ,
अटल जी, आपको आवाज आ रही है? पिंकेश मेरे असिस्टेंट हैं, वो बात कर रहे थे।
अच्छा।
Hello. जी, आपको आवाज आ रही है?
Will
Hello.
you change the slides, sir? Because I am unable to change the slides.
Yes. That should help.
Or I can share the file if you permit.
अगर
हाँ,
आप
yeah. No, you go to the page, slide number 4, please. The slide
अटल
before.
जी एक मिनट, हाँ एक मिनट, उसे कुछ बताना है। पिंकेश कुछ बताना है, क्लियरली बताओ क्या बताना है वो।
अच्छा, आपको भी आवाज आ मेरी आवाज नहीं आ रही है।
इधर से बात करें। एक मिनट अटल जी।
हाँ जी,
अटल जी,
हाँ जी।
हाँ, मैं एक्चुअली मैं स्लाइड रन करूंगा, तो जब भी आपको नेक्स्ट स्लाइड पे जाना रहेगा तो प्लीज आप मुझे नेक्स्ट स्लाइड करके बोल दीजिएगा, तो मैं और चेंज करते रहूंगा।
ठीक है, ठीक है। तो आप 4th स्लाइड पे जाइए प्रेजेंटेशन।
जी जी, मैं कर देता हूँ। थैंक यू।
दिस इज 5th स्लाइड, आई थिंक।
थैंक यू।
Friends, worldwide, the micro and small enterprises have been accepted as the engine of economic growth and for promoting equitable development. The micro and small enterprises constitutes over 90% of total enterprises in most of the economies and are credited with generating the highest rate of employment growth and account for a major share of industrial production and exports. The abbreviation SME occurs commonly in the European Union and in international organizations such as World Bank, in United Nations, and the WTO. The term small and medium-sized business, or SMBs, is predominantly used in the United States of America. In the European Union and USA, SMBs are the companies whose headcount or turnover falls below a certain limit. The business is classified as per the number of employees employed in the business. In South Africa, the term SMME for small, medium, and micro enterprises is used. Elsewhere in Africa, they use MSME for micro, small, and medium enterprises. In India, the sector is generally referred to as the micro, small, and medium enterprises. MSMEs play a pivotal role in the overall industrial economy of the country. In recent years, the MSME sector has consistently registered higher growth rate compared to the overall industrial sector. The major advantage of the sector is its employment potential at low capital cost. The MSME sector in India is highly heterogeneous in terms of the size of the enterprises, variety of products and services produced, and the levels of technology employed. While one end of the MSME spectrum contains highly innovative and high growth enterprises, more than 94% of MSMEs are unregistered, with a large number of established in the informal or unorganized sector. The sector has a high growth potential and performs a critical role in the manufacturing and value chain. Micro, small, and medium enterprises MSME sector is characterized by low investment requirement, operational flexibility, and locational wise mobility. Indian classification, the revised classification definition applicable from 1st July 2020 is like this. Micro establishments are the upward investment limit in plant and machinery has been revised to 1 crore and annual turnover up to 5 crore rupees. For small enterprises definitions, the investment in plant and machinery or equipment is not more than 10 crore and annual turnover is not more than 50 crore. For medium enterprises, investment in plant and machinery is not more than 50 crore and annual turnover is not more than 250 crore. This double-ended criteria are applied simultaneously. Like for each definition, there are two criteria: turnover criteria and investment in plant and machinery criteria. So these two definitions need to be applied simultaneously. If you disqualify in any of the one definition, then you either fall to the below category or you migrate to the upper category. For medium enterprises, if either of the definition is, if both these definitions are not satisfied, then you become a bigger enterprises if your rating is not downgraded. Next slide, please. Next slide. Yeah. The legal system for MSMEs is also very wide in India. We say that there is easy of doing business. Government is trying to do easy of business. However, there are a lot of legislation still applied to the MSMEs. For formation and registration, we have 6 kind of options: Companies Act, Indian Partnership Act, Cooperative Societies Act, Multi-State Cooperative Societies Act, Limited Liability Partnership Act, Indian Trust Act. And for registration purposes, MSMED Act and the Industrial Development Regulation Act. Then for taxation, income tax is there, now GST is there, and professional tax is there. Competition purposes, the Consumer Protection Act is there. Certain provisions of Monopolies and Trade Restrictive Practices Act are still applicable. Then Competition Act is always there. Environmental laws, there are 6 kind of minimum environmental laws requirement we need to do. Next slide, please. Next slide, please.
तो नेक्स्ट स्लाइड कर दी है.
Yeah, then labor law, there are 17 kind of labor laws that are applicable: ESI Act, PF Act, Mines Act, Child Labor Act, Contract Labor, Equal Remuneration Act, Industrial Disputes Act, Maternity Benefit Act, Minimum Wages Act, Payment of Bonus Act, Payment of Gratuity Act, Payment of Wages Act, Employers Liability Act, Factories Act, Plantation Labor Act, Trade Union Act, Workmen's Compensation Act. Property and Local Establishments purposes: Town Areas Act, ULD Act, Municipality Act, Municipal Corporation Act, Notified Area Land Regulation and Land Use Act, Urban Land Selling and Regulation Act, Transfer of Property Act, Indian Contract Act, Registration Act, Indian Stamp Act, Powers of Attorney Act, Land Acquisition Act, Architects Act. Product and process purposes: Bureau of Indian Standards measures are there, Drugs and Cosmetics Acts are there, Packaged Commodities Regulation Order there, Pharmacy Act is there, Standards of Weight and Measures Act, Legal Metrology Act, Insecticide Act, Prevention of Food Adulteration Act, Trademarks Act, Geographical Indication of Goods Act, Designs Act, Patents Act. So lots of legal legislations are applicable for the MSMEs, considering the type of industry or the background where they operate. So this makes a clear burden, some process for the MSMEs to comply with all the legal legislation applicable for them. Next slide, please. Central government has many schemes for the benefit of MSMEs. The entire details can be accessed through the website msme.gov.in. All the state governments have their MSME, either it is a ministry or it is a department under the industries ministry. So they have also their all the state governments have their state specific benefits, subsidy schemes available. For central government scheme, there are Prime Minister Employment Generation Program and other credit support schemes. There are 3 programs running under the schemes. Development of Khadi village and coir industry, there also many schemes are there. Then technology upgradation and quality certification, around 17 schemes are operating under this program, catering to various sectoral background of the MSMEs. Next slide, please. Marketing promotion schemes to reach the international market. There are international cooperation schemes are there, marketing assistance schemes are there, procurement and marketing support schemes are there, entrepreneurship and skill development programs, 2 schemes are there, infrastructure development program is there, cluster development schemes are there, schemes of surveys, studies, and policy research schemes are there. National SCST hub is there. Scheme of information, education, and communication is also there. So lot of schemes central government has already initiated. Most of them are in operational. The type of eligibility, the scope of the scheme, the disbursement mechanism, etc. Can be accessed through the MSME department website. Government of India is also the scheme of funds for regeneration of traditional industries. Here they approve and finance, give in the form of subsidy many projects upcoming for the cluster purposes. Already 433 approved clusters have been done. 1100 rupees crores financial disbursement has been made, and lot of benefits are given to the MSMEs who operate through the clusters. Next slide, please. Under the Aspire scheme of Government of India, the local livelihood business incubator scheme is there, and technology business incubator schemes are there, LBI and TBI. These incubator schemes are for mentoring the MSMEs. So the Government of India fund these incubators, and the incubator in turns mentor the MSMEs and help them establish and run through their initial stages of operation in the difficult time. So government also helps through these incubator schemes. So leaving apart this central government health subsidy schemes and all the state government specific government schemes, and considering this not easy of doing business as such in India, as per the present scenario, then the current corona pandemic, all of us we are facing, lot of MSMEs have closed down this their shops, and lot of MSME already had closed down their shops while during demonetization. Then due to the while the course of GST was introduced, and lot of procedural hassles faced by the MSMEs, and then now the corona pandemic. So MSMEs in India have faced a very tough time in this 4 years, though government is trying to support them through various subsidy scheme, incubation scheme, incentive schemes, investment incentive schemes like PLI, etc., where for MSME purposes a portion of these funds are reserved if they attract foreign investment for creating employment and increasing their production capacity. Still, we feel that whether these kind of supports are sufficient for the MSMEs to survive. If yes, then it's good. If no, then what is to be done years ahead of time? How we can face these challenges, and we need to recognize the challenges and we need to face them. Next slide, please. RBI has also initiated certain measures for fintech in the form of fintechs, financial technology companies, to benefit the MSME ecosystem. They have introduced a TRADS scheme in order to solve the problem of delayed payment to MSMEs. RBI has licensed 3 entities for operating the trade receivable discounting system, that is the TRADS. Then Udyami Mitra portal is also there. Then payment banks and small finance banks have also been authorized for the help of the MSME sector. These payment banks have been issued banking licenses, limited operational purposes, and these payment banks or small finance banks are highly technology oriented organizations. They don't directly lend to the distributors of the credit product, while the small finance banks they lend in the MSME space predominantly. So these kind of efforts RBI has also taken for the benefits of the MSME financing. Next slide, please. So friends, global competition now coming. Apart from our local issues, we have discussed the demonetization issues, the GST introduction issues, procedural issues in the under GST, and the corona pandemic issues. These are the 3 major issues the MSME has faced in the last 3 to 4 years time. Apart from that, we are facing global competition. So the global competitions are really challenging. SMEs are restricted in the profit margins or the size to which they can expand. Despite this market covered and the people benefited from resources that they offer is just countless. So there are due to the global competition, we have faced competition. Certain competition have resulted into benefits for the either directly or the indirectly benefits for the MSME sector, and certain risks which we need to analyze further. So more than 95% of the firms belongs to the SME category in India. Being large in number, these firms offer employment opportunities in technology-driven sector. On an average, about 60 to 70% employment in most countries is being generated through small and medium-scale enterprises. This is a global statistic, not only applicable to the India. Next slide, please. So benefits the SMEs gain through global competitiveness are, there is no doubt that the expanding wings in the global market would bring numerous benefits to SMEs and respective economies. Government focuses on providing sustainability to these firms so that they can become a global competitor. Some of the benefits are becoming part of a international supply chains, that is called as global value chains. Better growth and profit opportunities, strengthening of business network. SMEs have limited number of employees and geographical network is very small. To expand the horizon to get brighter and better results, a good network is required. When trade and exchange occurs on international level, SMEs eventually improve the social contacts and the network with clients. Next slide, please. Risks that exist in competing globally. Global competition for SMEs is easier said than done. The risk while entering a whole new world of possibilities cannot be denied. For instance, take the example of Indian SMEs. Out of 60 million SMEs in India, only 1% of them have made it possible to enter into global trade and compete with huge number of other such firms globally. Big companies could be a threat to the SMEs. Cooperation among SMEs and large enterprises makes it safer to compete globally. But when well-established enterprises do not want any other small or medium enterprise to come into market, they can cause serious threats to them. Trust issues in global world. The chances of becoming the victim of regional clusters among enterprises in specific locations of world are high. For instance, European countries have clusters among SMEs and do not allow others to compete or stay in the market. So this is a cartelization system they are operating. Frauds and trust issues in the global competitive market are common as well. Virtual business require extensive knowledge and power. Unless there is an ample amount of knowledge and power within the enterprises, it should be cautious to compete in the international market. Virtual business and competition is risky unless well understood. We cannot simply jump into the international market. We need to build up our knowledge base. We need to continuously learn the developments coming, changes happening, and the threats coming, so that we remain floated in the global market. It is true that the SMEs business need to cross certain barriers to allow the positive and fruitful competitiveness globally, but along with several barriers that exist, benefits that technology provide bring a boon to the competition. Global boundaries provide more strength and support to SMEs, and they should definitely strive to win laurels internationally. So challenges are there, benefits are there, and threats are there. So we need to analyze how much we are capable. So this map shows the global automation impact on SMEs, because it has shown that the substantial share of export from developing countries is in goods that can be produced by robots. So developed countries, Western countries basically, they have, and the Eastern economies like Japan, Korea, etc., they've tried to replace labor by robots. So when the robots are engaged, naturally their productive efficiencies increases, and the developing countries are unable to compete them in terms of efficiency and cost basis, as the goods are produced here in developing countries through manual labor, whereas the Western economies and the Far Eastern economies are now using robots in production. Next slide, please. In the services sector also, this graph shows that the restriction applied for as international trade barrier are very high. It is not as smooth as possible. The darker the graph, the trade barriers are higher. Next slide, please. So determination of efficiency is also dependent on many factors like political stability, economic policy stability, and the vulnerability of businesses. A lot of factors are coming. We hope you will be shared with this slide because the graph is a very critical graph and it is showing small in size. You may not be able to read it while in this screen, but if the PPT is shared, you can analyze at your personal end, and in case any doubt, you can talk to me later on as well. Next slide, please. So all the governments want their industries to prosper. The reason being, if the industries are prospering, then naturally they are creating the boosting system for stability in employment. Their unemployment problem is solved, and naturally the GDP of the state government or the national government increases, which are fuel for the growth of their respective economies. So they adopt many measures to boost the MSME sector. However, there are still challenges they are facing in cluster development, value chain building, existing subsidy overhauling, creating competitive advantages, entrepreneurship development, government role and focus are not identified proper way, SME financing opportunities, intellectual property rights issues, plus or minus things attached with the FDI regulation, and channelizing the corporate social responsibility funds for the development sector and the growth of the MSMEs in to achieve the innovation state concept. Innovation state concept was a European concept. The Europe has targeted to become an innovation state by the year 2020, and the plannings were initiated around the year 2013-14 around. However, due to the corona pandemic, they have also lacked those things. Now the thing is that the majority of the government policies, whether it is state governments or the central government, the policies are based upon the comparative advantage trade theory. That is the Ricardo's comparative advantage trade theory, where if a sector has a advantage, government create policies to push that sector. Whereas the sectors where comparative advantages are less, they get less favor, and hence the policies are not frequently changing. The industries falling in those bottom line are still suffering. Whereas the mind-boggling changes have been advised by Michael Porter, is a Harvard University professor, competitive advantage trade theory. And in the 21st century, we hope the government across the state in the nation shall adapt to this competitive advantage trade theory to develop the policies focused for industrial and agriculture and economic growth. Porter generic strategy. There are four kind of permutation combination. That is the competitive advantage he has advised: lower cost basis and differentiation basis. Under lower cost, the broad targets are cost leadership and differentiation. Then the narrow targets are cost focus and differentiation focus. So he has Porter has given focus from he has asked to change in focus from cost to cost leadership and to differentiate among these factors. Next slide, please. He has identified diamonds. He called them diamonds, the system of determinants of growth. These are growth is determined by 4 or 5 factors. Endowment of country with factors, demand futures of the market, that the local market and the international market, upstream and downstream industries. That is the suppose you are at a position, who are your downstream industries and who are your upstream industry. Downstream means your suppliers industry and upstream means your consumer industries. Domestic competition, change in government policy. Competitive advantages may vary among industries, sectors of industries. A country, whether as a host or origin country, can give different competitive advantages to different companies, global or local level. Innovation have leading role to sustain global competition, need to be pursued, not for getting eliminated from the market. That means the innovation need to be continuously focused so that you are not eliminated from the market. It is not to excel in the market, because survival of the fittest is the game. You need to be in the race to survive so that you can excel. If you focus only on excelling, it the fly by night operator, you may lose your total focus as well. Those countries are successful who have this national diamond. Please change the slide. Factors of production: natural resources, human resources, knowledge resources, capital resources. Capital resources depends on saving. India being a housewife-made country, I can say India has a lot of potential of household savings. It lies with the housewives in the India. So India has a inbuilt capital resources which need to be tapped proper way by incentivize the channelizing of savings of the household for good and development purposes and infrastructure building. The nation wins the competitive advantage if the domestic demand is so strong that forces the companies to innovate more rapidly than the foreign competitors in order to stay in the market. It says that your demand in your own local market should be so huge. The local players should be motivated to innovate more frequent than the foreign competitors. Suppose in India X product has a demand, and you feel that the domestic industry of that product need to be innovative, so that the market demand push it to be more innovative, and they should be more innovative than their foreign competitors, so that imports are discouraged automatically. People buy the local products. Next slide, please. So the idea of cluster comes from this competitive trade advantage trade theory. So clusters have initial the idea was from Alfred Marshall, but it was given a framework because the Ricardo's model of cluster building has been failed. How they have failed, we will analyze later. But this now the competitive advantage trade theory is pushing of the newest clusters. Those things we will also analyze. So cluster can contain a small or large number of enterprises, small and large farms in different proportion, farms with local or foreign origin. Different clusters involve varied degrees of interaction among the farms involved, ranging from loose network of association to multifaceted forms of cooperation and competition. Clusters can vary considerably in spatial extent. Next slide, please. So key factors are again technology transfer, knowledge transfer, skill level force available, agglomeration of economy, social infrastructure. Even every large European region has not the same chance to develop a certain cluster. Cluster development is more appropriate in areas where there is already an existing diverse economic base. Why a diverse economic base? Because in a diverse economic base, many players come from different backgrounds. They complement and supplement each other's needs. So that's why a cluster becomes success. Next slide, please. Failures of clusters have been earmarked for faulty policy mechanism. The microeconomic intervention are already done in promoting export, attracting foreign direct investment, implementing program to support the small and medium-sized enterprises. However, this microeconomic intervention enjoy wide support and are even encouraged by international institutions such as World Bank and Inter-American Development Bank. However, as discussed in a study done by Rodriguez Claret in the year 2004, the conceptual and empirical foundation for some of these interventions is not solid as most believe. In some other cases, such as that innovation policy, the particular way in which they are commonly implemented is likely to prove ineffective. So the first intervention failure region is related to externalities in the entrepreneurial process of discovering new profitable investment opportunity. So while promoters are discovering a new and profitable investment opportunity in the associated government policy, for that they make a bigger mistake there because they are not guided properly. And second is associated with the coordination failures in taking the necessary action to increase sector-wise productivity. So the coordination mechanism is also becoming a failure region. Cluster can be seen as agglomeration of firms and organizations in related economic activities, among which coordination failures are likely to arise because each player comes from a different background and are related on unrelated as well. So naturally, their correlation factors become very cohesive nature, very effortful, and failure chances are also there. So we need to be very careful while designing this cluster so that our MSME become a successful players and their coordination measures are successful as well. Next slide, please. So cluster may alternatively be thought of as resulting from agglomeration economy. The notion of coordination failure is more useful to derive appropriate policies to encourage clustering. Then there is a case of import substitution. Nowadays, a lot of efforts are being given for import substitution, and funds are applied rather than fostering cooperation in sectors where the economy already shows comparative advantage. General policies that aim to increase innovation across the board are likely to be inferior to policies that take a more selective approach by trying to induce the development of innovation cluster in areas of comparative advantages. So we will, in the next future slides, we will be seeing many interesting slides where we will analyze the clusters, how the cluster can success, then push our MSME to be part of the global value chains. Next slide, please. Next slide. Yes, the value chain cluster. This is one kind of cluster where marketing cooperatives are done. Both micro enterprises, small enterprises, and medium enterprises are become part of that. All units are the member of the marketing cooperative. However, the micro enterprises are basically engaged. They are large in number. They are busy in raw material procurement and initial level of processing. Their outputs are given to the small enterprises inside that cluster. The small enterprises do the value addition in case of higher level of production process, and they produce the semi-finished product. Then their outputs are again transferred to the medium enterprises who purchase from them and do the final processing and produce the finished product and do the final packaging, and then the supplies are go to the marketing cooperative for final dispatches through centralized customer building up. So this here what happens, you see the micro enterprises may not be able to attract bank finance or venture capital finance, etc. So here the bank finance can be given to the medium enterprises with all type of covenant, whatever, and security building up. Medium enterprises being a stable enterprises, it can extend line of credit to the small enterprises, and in turn the small enterprises can extend further line of credit to the micro enterprises. So the issues of security creation or the other factors attached with the bank finance is reduced at the level of that risk is minimized at the level of micro and small enterprises, and the medium enterprises get the finance, create the security for the financier, and extend line of credit to the medium, small and micro enterprises. So this is called trust capital, because the finance is transferred on the basis of trust from one enterprise to its supporting enterprises. So this cycle is carried on. So this is called as value chain cluster. This cluster are still to be implemented across the states in India. Next slide, please. Cooperative clusters are like one marketing cooperative we have analyzed. There are production cooperative where the similar industries come together. They build up their cooperative capacity for procurement and marketing, and production is distributed to many units established in that same cluster. Then quality consortia. As we all know that IPRs are patents, etc. are very costlier affair, and our Indian MSMEs are unable to develop their own patents or take, use the patents on basis of royalty payment. High use royalty need to be paid. This quality consortia can come into picture. Next slide, please. So linkage and networking need to be done among the local level, customer and clients level, supplier and associated business level. then from local to regional level, and from the regional to international level. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Emergency of global value chains. It is not a new phenomenon. Fragmenting the value added in a product across different countries or continents. That means the global value chains operation are not confined to a single geography. Their entire operation structures are divided multi-country location basis and multi-regional, multi-geography basis as well. So global value chain concept we will analyze some more detail in the next slide. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Next slide. Yeah. World Development Report. World Development Report 2020. The global value chains powered the source of international trade after 1990 and now account for almost half of all trade. So these are the companies which are multi-locational companies, and they are really becoming threats to all our big industries in India itself. We have very few companies which have been able to compete with global value chain, and this is also a short-term basis. So long-term planning we need to make for to be the part of the global value chain because of inherent issues. We are yet to develop Indian global value chains which can sustain the competition and support to the MSME sector. Now our strategy focus can be to make our MSMEs part of this global value chain rather than beating our hands on our chest that China is doing that, Philippines is doing that way. So we need to introspect our policies and push the government to adopt measures so that our MSMEs can be easily part of this global value chain. Next slide, please. You can change this slide because it is not visible. It can be shared in the PPT. Next slide, please. This is. So earlier what was happening, the research and development, designing, etc. were giving equal focus along with the manufacturing and the sales. So in the 1970s to 8, in this graph, you will see in the middle there is a flat curve from left to right. However, there is a curve cross-cutting, which is from the left it is top, then that is the product concept stage. In the manufacturing side, it is deep in the low bottom stage, and then now it is the sales and marketing side that's gone up to the highest height as well. So now the things are that the maximum value additions are done in the product concept stage in the sales and marketing side. Manufacturing is not becoming a core job. So manufacturing has been splitted into labor intensive nations, and the product concept and sales and marketing aspect are contained and regulated by these promoters in multiple tax haven countries or taxless jurisdiction, you can see. So this picture with a straight curve and a this curve, smiling curve, a deepening curve, it creating a smile like a face with smile. It is called a deepening smile curve. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Next slide. Yes. The sustainable industrialization triangle. The industrial innovation is country is expecting. MSMEs are part of this industrial innovation system. However, the successful industrial innovation system, please go to the back side. Please go to, yes. So industrial innovation system should aim for wealth creation with environmental sustainability and social development into mind. Then it become a development oriented state, and it can really push the MSME sustainability. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. The governance of global value chain. The global value chains are led and coordinated by global fund, buyers or producers through different types of relationships and network. Some of them are market based. That is, each enterprises deal with other enterprises at arm's length transaction. It is market is open. So is every company or every organization that deal with the market, fair market price. And hierarchical structure where the lead firm controls subsidiary, and one after processes are delegated to the next level. The captive, the lead firm says the parameter under which the other players in the chain operate. Modular, where modulars are complementary competencies they have, and the enterprises exercise control over each other. Each is a separate organization. Next slide, please. So this graph, portration, you can see the market type, the customers are separated, markets are fair, and suppliers are there. So complexity of transaction are low, ability to codify transactions are high, capabilities in the supply base is high. And modular type, clients and suppliers are integrate here. The high, complexity of transaction high, ability to codify transaction high, capabilities in the supply base is also high. Then relational type, that is the client and supplier are interrelational. There the level is high, low, high. Captive type, so this client and supplier are the client support to the captive output is used by the supplier as the captive consumption purposes. High, low. And hierarchical type where the the parent company headquarter controls the downstream subsidiary. That complexity of transaction high, ability to codify transaction are low, and capability in the supply base is low. Next slide, please. This is a graphical image of the clusters and related MSME floated across the world. Very controversy. The graph is in the year 2000, how the scenarios was there, how it migrated from 2000 to this due to rise of global valuation in the year 2005, and 2011 the global valuation pushed the world markets after the 2008 fall down, economic fallen down. Then the 2015 they have more matured, and now in the year 2021 they are now the market leaders, global value chains. Next slide. So domestic impact of GVC participation is very tremendous. Unless we recognize our competition, unless we become part of our GVCs, our MSMEs will continue to face competition. So by becoming a part of the global value chains, we minimize our scale of achievement. We become pro-competitive market. Restructuring is done. Then the technology spillovers, we get the best technology at very bargain price. Backward forward linkages are done, and labor markets are more mature. Next slide, please. So again, the GVC engagement process is bringing many challenges, and lot of improvement MSME sector we can hope for in the field of automation, coordination processes, defining our own product scope, connecting with the markets, upgrading our skills, and more mature engagement, and the learning through the innovation process, skill development, and acquiring technology, intangible IPR acquisitions, patents, trademark, copyright, etc., and widely recognized and reaching to the frontier scale, achieving the optimized selling level. Next slide, please. This you can skip. This is for a display purposes. Interested person can see it in the email when it will be shared. This is the typical food processing sector value chain suggested, where inputs are seeds, fertilizer, agrochemical, farm equipment, and irrigation equipment. These are taken by the farms who are processing the food, fruit and vegetable. Then small farms are there, medium and large farms are there. Then they do the initial processing, sent to the major processing company. The residues are also sent to the for further processing. They can directly, the intermediate product they can directly send to the exporter company or the large producer exporter company. The large processing company or the exporter company or the large producer exporter company, they do the final processing, and then they sell it in the supermarket. The importers and wholesalers in the global market, and small scale retailers as well operating in the global market. So the initial MSMEs who are part of this food processing sector are never worried for the storage of food, for their financing it, because that comes through the trust capital route, and then they achieve the everybody sustain their competitiveness and they survive in this competition, because food processing is a very volatility sector, because the life of these products are measured. These are not indefinite lengthy products. They're like aluminum, steel, metal, or those, or engineering products like of things. Next slide, please. So global value chains contribute to the SME cluster, and SME cluster contribute to the global value chain. Both are complement and supplement to each other. Without SME cluster, global value chains cannot achieve the global reach, and without global becoming nowadays in the part of this global value chain, SME cluster, SMEs in India are also going to face major challenges. Next slide, please. So we need to analyze in this process, while becoming a part of the globalization markets, global value chain process, we need to analyze the supply risk, the operational risk, the demand risk, the risk assessment and evaluation need to be done, risk management strategies for avoidance of risk, postponement of risk, speculation of risk, hedging of risk, control, share transfer, and security aspect of risk. All those things need to be analyzed before creating a value-added cluster policy. And mitigation of supply chain risk is the quite important. Next slide, please. So you see the environmental performance, social performance, economic performance, which are either good or better when correlated with one another. But when they merge in a integrated process, they bring sustainability. That is the best practice. This is globally valid. This adoptions enhances our organization culture. They are deeply ingrained. Organization citizenship and values and ethics systems are built. Transparency achieved, stakeholder engagement happen, supplier operations are happy, risk is minimized, contingency planning is done, supply disruption never happen, outgoing supply chains are secure, strategy, sustainability as part of an integrated strategy. Next slide, please. So you see the we will start from the lower bottom line. Not don't see to the upper bottom line. See to the domestic industrial cluster in the last line. You see the domestic industrial cluster has small scale supplier and small scale manufacturer. Small scale supplier can support to the small scale manufacturer and can give to the products to the large scale or multi-plant manufacturer. Again, small scale manufacturer can support to the directly sell to the local customer, or they can sell the produce to large scale, and large scale can again sell to the local customer. In among all these three type of thing, buyers and export agents are there who take their produce to the outside the national boundary. That means they cross the Indian boundary. Then there is the global buyer, small scale retailers globally, large scale multi outlet retailers, and through their interconnected chain they reach to the ultimate global customer. So while in a normal MSME cannot reach to the global customer, normal MSME can become part of a cluster or the similar kind of arrangement, and can its products can reach to the global customers. Next slide. So knowledge infrastructure is built up, physical infrastructure is built up on the left side. Right side, regulatory framework is suitably adapted. Pressure can be mounted on government to implement good industrial policy, good MSME policies if all are united, and the MSMEs are united. So we get the best of the thing. We procure raw material at cheap. Then components are sourced very technological advanced component, sub-assemblies, final assembling, buying, trading, production, related patency code, because the royalty payment is not that much now to the 100 enterprises. Instead of what will be the cost to the single enterprise, we comply with all the patent regime. And marketing we do in a massive scale. Retail sales also do. End use customers are satisfied. After sale service is done, then again disposal recycling process is done. So what as a single MSME unit you cannot achieve, we can achieve in this integration process. Next slide, please. Yes. So lead farm here in the center, it support to the domestic buyer, it support to the domestic supplier. It builds up the domestic capability through trust capital transfer. Enterprise development happens for MSME, skill development happen for MSME, technological training happen, and infrastructure building is happen for MSME. And the same lead farm, they establish the global link, they reach to the, they acquire the patent, they attract the foreign investment, like PLI schemes are there, many other FDI scheme, Make in India scheme, lot of schemes are there, and they reach to the global buyer. So who is as a single MSME you cannot achieve, we can achieve through this innovation process. Next slide, please. So linking, leveraging, and learning strategy, this is a L3 strategy, are the part of this innovation system, which is going to re-energize, reignite the SME success of India. Next slide, please. Yes, this is the ultimate global value chain. This is the last slide, friend. Please give 2 minutes thoughts to this process, because in this entire presentation, everything is been inculcated in this slide. You see the resources and capabilities, this need to be done by the MSMEs individually and through their trade association and through the support of their bigger organization. They are the mentor organization who will be the face of these networks. They can contribute, they need to plan, they need to mobilize resources and capabilities for enterprise development, human resources acquisition, training, research and technology acquisition, financial resources, creating physical and IT infrastructure and logistics system. However, the framework conditions are to be requested to the government, and government need to implement such policies, like the political system need to be stable, legal system need to be compliable. That means the compliance is easy and more transparent. Macroeconomic condition need to be set. Trade and investment policies need to be business conducive. Competition policies need to be helpful. Tax and business regulation system should be transparent and reasonable amount. Then this global business links is happening through the joint effort of the MSME enterprises, their mentor organization, and the framework condition to be set by the government. The foreign investment policies, export promotion policy, global buyers meet policies, technology acquisition policies, and imports of capital goods, which is a very, very important thing for production as well. So these global business links need to be jointly achieved by the industry and as well as the government. So this will push to a better cohesive SME cluster versus the global value chain. So this is the innovation system we need to achieve on by through continued effort, by pushing to our government through our industry association and other representation, so that Indian MSMEs can become self-sustainable. They can face the global challenges, and we achieve our desired level of employment in this difficult time, and our country can be prosperous. Next slide, please. Again, the same thing, the producer in a global value chain, the producer are informed, the MSME knows their capability, their resources planning, their efforts, they know, they are aware of those things. Technology innovation R&D is done, skill development is done for them, adequate infrastructure and finance is arranged by the government, and appropriate institution and domestic regulations are facilitated by the government, and market intelligence system is built by both the government and as well as the industries, MSMEs and their industry association. Next slide, please. So in the conclusion, countries need long-term strategies with respect to developing their global competitiveness and achieving sustainable growth. Global value chains have huge potential given the growing global demand as well as supply of inputs and outputs in many sectors. MSMEs have a lot of potential to grow in a competitive world by becoming part of global value chain, and in its absence, part of local value chain or cooperative cluster. trust capital is going to be the emerging financing methodology for MSME financing. Thank you. So participant, you can ask if there is any question. I've covered a lot of things actually. Something might have not been digestible by you. However, you can ask me if there is any doubt. So I'll try my level best to make you understand the concepts behind this presentation.
Atalji,
Yes, sir.
I got some observation. There's
Yeah.
a difference between the eligibility criteria set up by the Ministry of MSME and the
Yeah.
state government.
Okay.
While considering the eligibility investment in plant and machinery, as per
Yeah.
MSME industry guideline, is 50 crores WDV. Whereas
Okay.
in case of Maharashtra's policy, they consider investment in plant and machinery, including land, building, everything. So because of this, the industries in Maharashtra has to scale down their capacity.
Okay. Sir,
I think we
the
should take up this issue with the
yes. So you can represent this matter with the industry department of the government of Maharashtra, Mantralaya mein hai. And under the mentoring, there might be a MSME department or ministry as well. We need to go to them and represent them that this is not correct way of interpreting the central government objective. Because investment in plant and machinery means investment in plant machinery.
yeah,
Buildings
but they are
cannot be
considering
part
land
of it.
building.
Yeah, they
In
might
case of
have
highly
been
capital
misled.
intensive, they have to just
Yeah.
scale down their capacity by at least 1/3.
No, this is not good for the state as well, no? Because they are
Yeah.
losing the employment. Who is suffering? State is suffering. So we need
I
to
think-
give a suitable presentation to them, representation.
Yeah.
Let me let Vinodji, is it you are speaking in context of Maharashtra package incentive scheme, the eligibility criteria?
Yeah.
Okay. I think Atalji, this particular issue need to be, if it need to be addressed, then Vinodji, you need to speak to that particular department. Okay? You take up, you put a proposal before Maharashtra state government for this purpose, and then they may definitely consider it and make some.
Sir, in Maharashtra government, nothing is moving. In past also, I made some suggestion. They have incorporated in the policy, and it has been declared in the policy to incorporate that suggestion. But while issuing the GR, they have ignored it.
Okay.
This is what
Sir, I would request you to route the proposal through 2 or 3 big industry association which are working for MSME sector or in your sector. Suppose you are from textile sector, so you might have lot of textile industry association as well. You can pursue 2 or 3 associations and take them so that your strength is recognized there. Instead of a single industry, if an association goes, then government is influenced and okay, this association of 50 member, 500 member, so they become obliged to that. So that is a practical way of doing business in India. Although theory will tell later a lot of things.
let us hope.
Right.
We'll try.
Right.
Best
And
wishes,
one
sir.
more
It will
thing,
happen.
one more thing, you just mentioned that PLI scheme will be helpful to MSME, but this to be eligible for PLI scheme, we need to have additional investment of 100 crores. And
No,
the
for,
eligibility
I
criteria in
think,
MSME is 50 crores.
sir. I don't know which sector you belongs to. However, in all sectoral policy, certain portion of the budget outlet is reserved for SMEs as well, up to 25 crore, like those things. Maybe it may be the amount might be different for different sector, like pharmaceutical might be different, textile may be different, auto component might be different. But we can always ask the government for changes. Government is agreeing for doing the changes. It is once you bring the matter to their knowledge, they will do it. Definitely, they will do it, or they may come with alternative mechanism.
Okay.
Any other questions? Let me see the chat box. Kajal Anand madam has said okay, some bullet points need to be elaborated for people to actually understand. Right, but in that 1 hour time, it's a bit difficult because some terminologies are there which MSME entrepreneurs may find it difficult to understand. But Atalji, in that context, she is saying. And
Yes,
accordingly,
I understand, Samirji, that the concepts are global concept, and our entrepreneur might not be. It might be alien to this existing way of policies or like those things. So we need more time to analyze all these things, because there is a introduction meeting. You can say we have summarized everything in a single presentation. So her
Right, right.
madam's concern are definitely appreciable. We can part it later on if opportunity come. We can this presentation can be made into parts, so that we can
True, true,
get
true.
more time to analyze them.
Right. And second, Neeru Batra ma'am has asked, what are the problems faced currently which need to be addressed in WTO trade facilitation agreement?
Okay. Niruji, WTO trade facilitation agreement is a country thing actually. It is not as such a particular company level or industry association level. So trade facilitation is done through the trade contact point. Each country has their designated trade facilitation contact point. So if you have any issues in while doing exports abroad, so you can approach to our Indian trade contact points. Your issues can be analyzed, and then it can be discussed with the counterpart countries for facilitation, or the issues can be raised in the WTO forum as well. So if you can say the particular problem, then I can try to help you in guiding to either you go to the trade facilitation contact point or to a particular department or ministry for the solution, immediate solution.
Okay, well said. Any other questions from our members? Okay, that's done, I think. PPT shall definitely be shared with the registered participants, the attendees. May I request Rajesh to propose a vote of thanks? Rajesh? Rajesh, am I audible?
Hello,
Haan, Rajesh.
am I audible now?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, so thank you, Samir bhai.
Thank you.
Now it's a privilege and honor to be part of MSME Perspective, and it's again an honor to give a vote of thanks to today's learned speaker, Mr. Atal Bihari Ji Banja. He has covered in a very lucid and a simple manner on competition, sustainability, and capacity building, considering the global norms, what are global practices. I'm sure this session must have been very useful to all the attendees and a member of MSW Perspective. So, Atal Bhai, on behalf of MSW Perspective and all the audience, thank you very much for your valuable time and sharing your expert knowledge on competition and capacity building and sustainability, which is very much need of the hours today, especially pandemic-led lockdown has given importance of looking things into very different manner. All the variables are changing very fast, and sustainability has to be taken care in a due spirit, not only by government, by respective businessmen as well. So thank you very much for your valuable time and expert knowledge.
Thank you, Rajesh ji, for summarizing the things in a well coordinated manner. And thank you, Samir ji, also organizing this, Binod ji, and all the participants for
Yes.
staying for one long hour in this Saturday and making this talk really interesting and challenging as well. Thank you all.
Yeah. Thank you everybody for patience hearing from MSME Perspective. Soon we'll be arranging the next webinar and we'll declare it. Thank you very much for patience hearing.
Thank you to everyone, and very nice weekend to everyone.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Atal.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.